This is Fresh Boy Production.
What is going on? This is your boy, Coach Coleman, Jesse Coleman, and you're checking into another episode of Breakthrough Blueprint, the podcast, where we help you tap into your full potential. I am here again, second week in a row. I told y'all I'm getting back into my groove. I'm getting back into the swing of things, not only with the pod, but just with everything. Y'all already know what's been going on. Y'all been rocking with me. Y'all, know the transition and things like that. And we still here. We still rocking and rolling. I'm excited to be back. Shout out to the people that's been reaching out to me that I've been seeing. That's been saying that they've been liking the episodes and they're consistent to it. And I got to make sure I do my part of being consistent and keep dropping episodes for you all. So I'm not going to prolong too much and do a whole little thing. Again, but I will say, shout out to everybody that celebrated Juneteenth in a big way. I don't know which neighbors it was, but they turned up with the fireworks. It was about 10 at night, and that day I knew, we talked about Juneteenth and everything. Yet that night it kind of slipped my mind, and they got right with the fireworks. 10 p.m. going off whole fireworks show. So shout out to them. And then we got 4th of July coming up. So shout out to everybody that's doing that. But we're going to get right into it. We're not going to prolong, and I'm not going to do that. I kind of want to. So let's set the scene. Last week we talked about who are you becoming, right? And the old you, you're going to have to get rid of the old you to become the new you, right? We talked about a lot of those things. And one thing I thought about is that we spend a lot of time trying to add a lot of things to our lives. We try to add more goals. We try to add more money, more opportunities, more habits, more responsibilities, more this, more that. But sometimes the breakthrough doesn't come from adding more. Sometimes it actually comes from finally putting some things down. Now, here's the truth for a lot of us. Again, it's me talking to myself, not just talking to you all, is that we carry a lot of emotional baggage. We carry a lot of stress. We carry a lot of guilt. We carry a lot of resentment. We carry a lot of grief. We carry a lot of expectations, not only for us, but expectations that we have for other people, right? And the pressure was never meant to be carried forever. They talk about how pressure makes diamonds and things like that. It's that yin and the yang. Pressure makes diamonds, but also pressure busts pipes. We was not meant to carry a lot of that pressure all the time. At some point, the weight becomes too heavy for us, and that's the big lesson. Like, what are the things that we carry around that we don't really talk about? And then a lot of us carry a lot of these things. For my people in real estate or my entrepreneurs, people that's in those fields, you carry a lot of work, stress from work. My people with families, the pressure from family, the pressure to make sure you're showing up for a family, the pressure to hold those expectations that people may have of you for family. And what I'm recently been dealing with is grief from a loss, right? That's stuff that we're carrying around. We may not feel like it's bothering us, but we carry that stuff around. I know a lot of people carry the grief, the guilt of past mistakes, right? The expectations from others, not only the expectations we have for others, but the expectations that we have for ourselves or other people have from us. A big part too is disappointment when things don't go our way. Like these are all the things that we carry, right? The challenge is most people learn how to carry it, very few learn how to release it. And I'm guilty of this. We wear this like a badge of honor of like, oh, I'm dealing with all this, the weight of the world on my shoulders. I got this. And I've been guilty of saying these things. Yet we have to learn how to release a lot of these things because we think it makes us stronger. And yet after a certain point, just like working out, after a certain point of doing the same thing over and over again, your body stop reacting the way you think it should react, and then it start reacting another way, or it just hits that plateau, it stands still. Just because you've been carrying it for years doesn't mean it's yours to keep. Like, we all carry these things that we don't talk about, and it affects us in a way that it started affecting, what we do and how we show up to people. A big part of the weight we carry too, a big weight that we carry is, and I said it just a few minutes ago, is the weight of unspoken expectations. Now, are we putting unrealistic expectations on ourselves? Now, this conversation here, this part is one of those tricky parts because we supposed to bet on ourselves. We supposed to believe in ourselves. We supposed to do all these things. And are we setting unrealistic expectations on ourselves? And then when we don't meet those expectations, we get down on ourselves and we start carrying resentment because of it, right? Then it's that expectation for others. This is a big one. I keep saying it, but it's funny because everything comes, it comes to that where these are things, each of these things are big parts of people's lives. The expectations of ourselves, that we put too much expectation on ourselves, but the other aspect of it is the expectations we put on others. We expect us from other people. We expect people to show up the way we show up. And then when they don't show up, we're frustrated with the reality. Like, we had that false perception of reality and expecting other people to show up the way we show up, and when they don't, we get upset with them, when our actuality it's our fault for putting those expectations on other people. It's our fault thinking that other people are going to show up like we show up, and when they don't, we get down. And then we have this expectation of what life, quote unquote, should be. What life should be. Life's supposed to be this. I caught myself saying that before. Man, this is not how life's supposed to be. Life's supposed to be like A, B, C, and D, where there's a lot of different components to that, right? For one, I am very big on you are where you're supposed to be at the time you're supposed to be there, and you are in the position that you're supposed to be now. Here's what I'll say to that though. A lot of times life isn't the way we expect it to be because we're not doing the things we're supposed to do for life to be that way. I'm just going to throw that in there, right? I have to just keep it real. I have to be honest. If we expect life to be a certain way and life isn't that way, uh, I will probably say a large majority of that is because we're not doing what we're supposed to do for life to be that way. And too many times we get frustrated because reality doesn't match our expectations. That goes back to what the expectations we have for other people, the expectations we put on other people. When reality doesn't match that, we get frustrated and we be like, to hell with these people. We can't say that. Is it just that they didn't show up, or is it that we expected them to show up in a certain way that they didn't show up as? And it's not their fault, it's ours. It's our expectation we put on them. And we get frustrated about it. Remember, we have to start letting go of those expectations because we will carry resentment around for people, for us, and for situations. And we know that's not a good way to live. We have to do that. We have to check our expectations in the doors. We have to check that. And the weight of grief is not necessarily focusing on the loss itself, but it's how grief changes what we carry and the way we carry things. It's the way we carry sadness. It's the way we carry regret. It's the way the questions we have. It's the memories have we have. Now, we know grief isn't weakness, it's just proof that love existed. Yet, carrying the weight of that, one thing I can say, and I was having a conversation with a few times with a few people, and it was the conversation of, I have no regrets. That is the one thing I can say, that when Pops passed, it was never a thing like, damn, I wish I would have spent more time with him. Damn, I wish I would have saw him. One thing I make sure I did, and I continuously do with my family, is I am going to spend a lot of time with them, no matter what. I don't care, because again, we don't know what that situation looked like. So I'm going to spend as much time as possible. So that I can honestly say that is not one thing that I carry, is the weight of regret of, like, I wish I would have just talked to him. I wish I would have saw him. Like, we never get as much time with people. 70 plus years on the earth, that still wasn't enough time for him, right? Yet there's no carrying that. So I'm happy I don't go there. But there's some people that probably have that because they had a situation where they feel like they should have spent more time. You have to let that go. You have to let that go. I still carry the sadness, right? There's some times where I just get sad out of nowhere. Father's Day just passed. Father's Day was a rough day. It Nothing was wrong, but I was just not in a good mood. And it was like, okay, I have to let that go. I have to get out of that, because that trickles into other things. And it's having those memories. It's having the good memories. It's thinking about the good times. It's looking at the good pictures. It's like those are the way for me to not carry that weight of grief, and just go back to the memories, go back to the good times, and just look at those things. Now, there's some for people that I talk to, and kind of like changing gears a little bit, where there's some people that's still holding on to a lot of their past mistakes. How many of you all listening, you still carry, and you can hit me up if you want, hit me up on the side and talk to me. How many of you all are still carrying around a bad decision you made, or a quote unquote failed business, a lost relationship, a missed opportunity, so forth and so forth and so forth, even after so many years? Here's the thing, that mistake happened once, but we relive that daily, right? You get what I'm saying? We have a bad decision. We have a something that we figured failed. That happened once, and we replay that constantly. Oh man, this happened, and 10 years ago, and you're still holding on to that. We all make bad decisions. You made a bad decision, you will continue to make a bad decision. That's the thing. You're never going to not make a bad decision. It could be something as little as, I know I shouldn't have ate those donuts these past week. You're gonna make bad decisions. A failed business, if you're not failing, you're not trying. That's what they say. Fail often, fail fast, fail often, fail forward. The more you fail, the more you grow, because that's where you learn. We already talked about that so much. A lost relationship, a lost friendship. Hey, we can't hold on to that. If there's a relationship that we feel that we lost, if there's an opportunity for you to get that back, try it. If not, we have to let that go. I have no regrets. No matter what has happened, no matter what's going on, I can honestly say I have no regrets, because I probably wouldn't be right here talking to you all right now if I didn't make some of those decisions, if I didn't fail in some of the ventures I tried, if I would have got every opportunity I wanted, if I still had a relationship with some people that I don't have relationships with no more. There's no telling what could happen. We have to let that go. The past is the past. The past has made us who we are. We learned from it, and we let that go. We don't hold that. We don't let that hold. Keep that holding on to us. There's one way that that we carry that a lot of us need to let go. And I have this conversation so much with so many different people. And it's that way to trying to be everything for everyone. If you are a leader, if you are a parent, if you are an entrepreneur, you're an agent, you're a best friend, you cannot be everything for everyone. You're trying to be the coach, you're trying to be the leader, you're trying to be the spouse, you're trying to be the parent, you're trying to be the friend, you're trying to be the therapist, you're trying to be this, you're trying to be that. And yet, when we're trying to be everything for everyone, we get piled on a lot of stuff, right? And you have to ask yourself this question. You have to ask yourself, am I carrying responsibilities that were never mine to carry? Are you carrying some things right now because you had a conversation with somebody and they just unloaded all their stuff on you and now you're holding on to that, right? We can't be everything for everybody. We can't pour from an empty cup, right? We have to make sure we're charging our battery. We have if I'm not mistaken, in the first season, we have an episode around this, or I know I've talked about this, is that whenever you get on a plane and a flight attendant is going through their security procedure, they always tell you put your oxygen mask on first, then put your oxygen mask on the person next to you. You can't do that if you're putting everybody else oxygen mask on. What's going to happen to you? Right? You can't be everything for everybody. If you are carrying something that is not yours to carry, you have to let that go. Again, this is for my leaders, for my parents, for my entrepreneurs, for my agents. You're being everything for everybody else. I know some people that's a coach for people. They're a friend for people. They're a psychiatrist for people. You can't keep doing that for everybody else, and you're keeping all that on. You're keeping all that baggage. You got to let that go. Like, and it goes back to the episode where I talked about my blood pressure. Right, stress doesn't just disappear; it gets stored. And stress gets stored in multiple ways. It gets stored in our mind, our body, our emotions, and our relationships. Right. Eventually, you're going to have to pay that bill. You're going to have to pay that invoice. Right. Stress is going to show up somewhere. If we are if we are stressed because we're carrying stuff that we need to let go, it's not worth it. If your body is not operating the way you is used to operating, think about what's going on, right? Your emotions. If you're just in a bad mood, think about what's going on. Stress is showing up somewhere. I taught a class. Actually, I taught the class last week. Breakthrough Blueprint. I taught that, and the young lady in the class, she said, "Hey, I never know when I need to scale it back until it's too late and I'm completely burnt out." I said, "Here's the thing. Your body is giving you signs. Think of a car. Your car started letting you know when you are 50 miles, 20 miles, 10 miles, 5 miles to empty. Your body is giving you warning signals. You're just not paying attention to it." That's what I told her, right? I'm like, I'm pretty sure you can, if you sit back and really think about it, there's probably been a situation where you were just tired at for no reason. Your head maybe was hurting. You couldn't eat. You were just thrown off. Your mood wasn't good. There was some sign that told you, like, hey, you need to fill up your gas tank. Hey, you need to go get an oil change. Hey, you need to do these things. So it's not saying that there's not a sign. It's just you're not paying attention to those signs. And you only pay attention when your car shut off and you're on the side of the road and your gas tank is on E. Eventually, that bill has to come due. So we have to make sure that we're looking for the signs. Stress is going to come up. We have to look for the signs, and we have to stop it right then and there. Now, I want to ask you all. This is for you to really think about it. What do you need to put down? What are the things that you're carrying that you know you need to put down? Is it resentment? Is it some form of guilt? Is it fear? If it is it fear of failing or fear of success? Right? Are you seeking approval from people who you love, or people on social media you don't even fucking know? Right? Do you need to put down trying to be a perfectionist? Right? Everything has to be perfect. You can't start because you want everything to be perfect. Do you need to put down that pressure of having to have everything figured out? Because let me tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't think there's anybody that has everything fucking figured out. So again, what are the things you need to put down? We all have these things. If you journal, write it down. Say, hey, let me really take this time to myself and think, what are some of the things I need to put down? What are some of the things I need to let go? And then there's so much freedom after we get that, right? After we get that, there's so much freedom in letting go. Ladies and gentlemen, you do not have to carry everything forever, right? We talked about when a kid, if they touch the hot stove, they learn a lesson. Learn your lesson and move on, right? Keep the wisdom. There's always a learning lesson. There's always some type of learning experience and everything we've been through. You keep the wisdom, you let go of the bullshit. You release all that dead weight, that negative weight, right? I want you all to remember this. Healing does not mean forgetting. It means no longer carrying it everywhere you go. That's exactly what it means. You're not forgetting, you're just not carrying that shit no more. You put it down. It doesn't have a hold on you. It's not that big load on your back. Think of it like this. Remember a time or a situation where you had something to do on your to-do list, and when you finally did it, that weight you felt come off of you, how free and relaxed you felt. Now imagine that feeling now when you start letting go of all this other bullshit, right? When you let go of that resentment, when you let go of that guilt, when you let go of that fear, when you let go seeking approval from people, when you let go trying to be a perfectionist, when you let go the pressures of thinking you have to have everything figured out, when you let go that anger that you had for that past relationship, when you let go that that holding on to a decision you made that didn't work out, when you let this shit go, imagine how you're gonna feel when all that weight is released off of you. It's so much freedom in letting go. It is so much freedom in letting go. Somebody did you wrong, okay, fuck them. We'll always remember, forgiving somebody is not for them; it's for you to move on. And this is my challenge for you all. Now, I already get so I'm going to put it together, right? What do you need to let go, right? Write down, what am I carrying that I need to put down? I need you to answer this honestly. Not what should go, but what needs to go. What is something that just holding on to you that you need to let go? And then we let that shit go. We let it go. And I'm going to leave you all with this. Maybe the next breakthrough in life isn't about becoming stronger. Maybe it's about finally putting down what's been carrying you for too long. Maybe it's about finally putting down what you've been carrying for too damn long. Because we always talk about what we need to add, what we need to bring in. No, maybe it's time that we finally just let shit go. So from me to you all, I hope and I look and I just really wish that whatever you're holding on to, whatever that baggage is, that you finally decide to just let it go and feel that freedom of 20, 30, 40 pounds being lifted off your shoulders, and you're just free to move on with your life. This is your boy, Coach Coleman, Jesse Coleman. Thanks for checking into another episode of Breakthrough Blueprint, the podcast, where we help you tap into your full potential. See you all next week. Peace.
the same.